A while back, I made a turned clock for my grandmother, and she liked it so much that she asked that I make a mirror that matched it. I'm using the same wood, which I got at a garage sale a while back, and if memory serves, it's tigerwood, though I'm not really certain. I resawed it to approximately the right thickness before sending it through the planer. While the clock was solid throughout, the mirror is going to end up only being a ring, and so it can't really be made out of solid wood, and so that's why this project is segmented. This is the first time I've used hose clamps for gluing up segmented pieces, and although it took a little bit to get the hang of it, I really liked it. I couldn't find hose clamps that were big enough to accommodate the 11 or 12 inch diameter of this project, but I took a couple of 7-inch hose clamps and just chained them together, and that worked just fine. Using a drill really sped up the process, but having an extension to better reach the screws on the hose clamps was really helpful. With the ring sort of dry fitted, I could pour out a little bit of glue onto some wax paper and then start gluing up the pieces. You'll notice that I alternate the orientation of the segments, and that's because I wanted to account for any air that might be in the table saw blade. This way the angles that appear on adjacent segments actually cancel each other out, and so the ring will lay flat. I don't know if this technique really worked or if I just got lucky with the angle of my table saw blade, but the rings ended up being pretty flat. With the rings sanded flat, I can start gluing them up. I wasn't too worried about aligning every other ring, but I think I got it pretty close. After getting them roughly lined up, I added a few more clamps to help. I drew some circles on the faceplate I was going to mount it to serve as a reference for mounting it back on. You don't have much time to adjust it with the hot glue, and so it really helped to know exactly where it was going to go. After truing up the outside, I went to work on the rabbet that was going to receive the mirror. This wood was so hard that I ended up having to use a carbide cutter for most of it. With the rabbet complete, I could reverse it and then mark where I'm going to add some dowels in a moment, as well as the total thickness of the ring. The original clock had padauk dowels inserted as markers, and while the mirror obviously doesn't need these, I wanted them to look like they matched. Using a compass and the edges of each of the segments, I could find where each of these dowels was going to be drilled out and inserted. All in all, it was 60 separate pieces of wood that went into this project. That's something that I often forget when I start out to do a segmented project, how much gluing there's actually going to be and how many different unique pieces of wood there are going to be. I'm not sure what the best way is to remove a workpiece that's been attached with hot glue, but I ended up rotating it a lot and gently prying it up with a chisel, and that seemed to work okay. With the mirror in place, I marked where the back of the mirror was so that I could pre-drill for some glazing points. This wood was so hard that I didn't think that I'd be able to push glazing points in without a little help. In segmented projects, it always surprises me that a board like this can turn into a project like this. If you liked this video, you might check out last week's project, where I made the segmenting sled used in this video.